I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, we're recording. Okay, great. So let's just get started then.
Are you
You're like,
you're wearing a sweater? Is that a sweater?
it's like a cardigan, yeah.
Where are
Yeah.
you?
In Dubai.
You're wearing a cardigan in Dubai.
Well, it's cooler at night. It's like nighttime here. So
I
desert
don't
gets
I don't know if all of your Toronto friends have been messaging you or if you've been following like
Yeah, I heard it's
CBC
a disaster. I heard it's a disaster. A friend of mine, Fuad, posted something on Facebook. He's like, I want to see everyone's patio furniture right now. That's really bad. Yeah.
You cannot see the patio furniture. My car, literally, I know I have a small car. I have a Prius, a small car. It is literally
Great.
under snow.
Oh my God.
It's hilarious. You can't just see. You open the door and you just laugh. You can't help but just laugh.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
man.
winter. It's funny. It's funny how we're always like, when in Canada, you're like, oh my God, it's so cold, it's snowing. You're like, yeah, it's
It's
January.
Canada.
This is what is expected. It'd be weird if it was like 20 degrees or something,
Yes.
it'd be weird. Then you'd be like, what's happening? It's expected. There's snow, a lot of snow. Every year it happens. And every year
Yeah.
we're like, oh my God, what is this?
Remember that CBC short they did years ago? It must be, I don't know, 15 years, maybe 20 years old, where it's like snow in Toronto. And I think it's 22 minutes, that CBC show that they have.
Oh, this hour is 22
This
minutes.
hour is
Yeah,
22
yeah.
minutes. And you got
Yeah.
Rick Mercer saying, and I took my isotoner and I wiped off the snow.
Right.
Those are hilarious videos. How are things in Dubai?
Yeah, good, man. I'm staying with my sister, so I'm just visiting her. I just haven't gone back.
You're just escaping what we have here.
Yeah, I came here to visit, and then everything that I'm doing, I'm able to work virtually,
That's good.
and I split my time between Toronto and LA, and there's no real, but I don't have like a place. So when the pandemic hit, I threw all my stuff in a locker, so all my stuff's in a locker in Los Angeles. I went back home to Toronto, so I don't really have my own space.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So being here, I mean, it's great, and just to hang out with my sister is awesome as well. I don't get a chance to spend as much time with her. So your sister moved to California. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm like living life through the both of you. You golfing in Dubai, and my
Yeah.
sister working under palm trees in her backyard.
That's good. You gotta go visit her, man. I don't know what you're doing
Yeah.
there.
I'm literally
Visit your
thinking,
sister.
like,
Visit my sister.
just going and just spending like the summer there or the winter there, just seeing if my work will allow me to be that remote. There's one thing about working from home when you're in Toronto, but being able to go to the office if you're really needed to, versus
You
working
need
from
to.
home in California. And I
don't know.
haven't needed to, but like the longer this goes, it's like, okay, now's the ending. So I can't go, now's the ending.
Right. I see what you're saying. I mean, look, I'm looking at palm trees right now, and you could be looking at palm trees right now. I'm just saying.
I could be.
And we both have sisters who have access to palm trees.
That
I'm
is so
taking
true.
advantage.
Well, good for you. That is awesome, man. So things have been good for you. We haven't spoken in a while.
Yeah, bro. Things have been yeah. Things have been good. I mean, I guess we spoke before the pandemic, so obviously lots of
Yeah. I mean, the
pandemic.
last time the last time you were on here, which was the first time you were on here, I think we were in the last season of Saving Hope. So
Right.
which is
that's so right.
it seems like a long time ago, that was.
Yeah, I think so. It's like probably 5 years maybe. Maybe a
Yeah.
little bit longer. Yeah, something like yeah. Yes. What's your question? Like, what am I doing work-wise since then?
No, I
I
mean,
guess.
you've been doing a lot, I know. But actually, I mean, how I know you just said that you packed up your stuff in LA, threw it in a locker, came back to Toronto. You're now in Dubai. Since throwing everything in your locker, I know you have worked, and we'll obviously talk about a couple of the stuff that you've done. But how have you been otherwise?
Good. Good. Really good. The pandemic was obviously very challenging work-wise. The entertainment industry, especially in the very beginning, took a big hit.
Yeah.
Because it's a collaborative art form, you know. So it took a long time to get that going. The beauty of and there was people like we have like like family friends and people who've had some who've lost
Yeah.
we've lost some people. So that stuff is like awful. And then on top of that, we lost people who are not due to COVID, but then you couldn't commemorate their passing. Like we couldn't go to the funeral. All these,
Yeah.
and that stuff was really, really difficult. But for me, coming home was a gift. Like I don't think I spent that much amount of time with my mom and dad in like I don't know, like years and years. And so I for the first time look at mom and dad as like people, and I'm like, yeah, pretty cool people. Like I like them. They're they're pretty cool,
As we get older, right?
Yeah, like there's this. It's true as you get, but then there's also this sort of like I'm spending all my time with them, and I want to spend my time with them. Like there was like I don't know, it was just great, like just cooking with them and praying with them, and like even like I started writing a lot.
Okay.
And my dad, was always like working. He used to always work. He was never really never really involved. Like growing up, he was always like away, and he was sort of like when he was involved, it was just a critique, and then he left. This is like the first time where he kind of just would sit down in my little, like I had created a little creative space, like my little creative office. He would just sit down and hang out and be like, "All right, son, read the first 3 scenes to me," and I'll be like reading the script to him, and then he'll give me like notes, or like really good notes, by the way, like very good sharp notes. Like that's a good point, Dad. Or just would just want to hang out and just hang out, which would never happen. It just has never happened.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, I don't take that for granted at all. So despite all the tragedies and the hardships that have happened during COVID, this to me is probably one of the best things that could have happened.
Wow. So what are you writing? Yeah. Can you tell us yet?
Yeah. So I've got I've got a couple of TV shows that I'm just trying to take off the ground. There's nothing really to report yet.
Yeah.
But, I've partnered with some really good, talented companies. Like people who really work, and we're just we're shaping them up, and then hopefully getting out there, and then we can do another podcast when that comes out.
Yeah. Well, is it? I mean, with all of the, we like decades ago used to be all of these channels. Now it's all of these streaming services. It just seems that every decade there's just more opportunities to put your art out, whether it is through a YouTube or a TikTok, or whether it is on a Netflix or a Crave here in Canada, or on Prime. Is it easier? Is it harder? Are there more opportunities?
I just don't. I mean, I don't know what the exact answer is. I suspect the answer is that it's the exact same. So, and I say that because, as like streaming services, there's like, you would think now, oh my God, it's so easy to get a show made, but there's that many more people now in the pool trying to get their shows made. And while those people are trying to get their shows made, the larger like people who have done some incredible, who've accomplished some great things, movie stars, big producers, they're not getting their stuff made or seen in cinema. Like that middle budget cinema, that chunk of movies, those aren't getting made anymore. Yeah. And so now they're looking for space on streaming networks. You see what I'm saying? So the competition, as much as that there's a lot of space, I think the competition and to get your foot, all that kind of stuff in the door, remains the same. that being said, I do think there is finally
Mhm.
an interest, and we're nowhere near where it should be, but there is an interest, and there is, yeah, there's just, I think maybe a curiosity for different voices, different
Sure.
points of view, that whether you're a person of color or you belong to a marginalized group that is not necessarily represented in pop culture, that is
Yeah.
getting that. I think I like to believe that we are headed in a direction where we're going to see more of that representation. So that is good, I would say.
And I guess from that, we're assuming that that's a good thing,
Yeah,
right? Like,
100%. Yeah, I think so. Like, you think
yeah,
about the show Squid Game. Did you watch Squid Game?
I haven't yet. No.
Okay, no, but you've heard of it. You've heard about
Sure.
Squid
Yeah.
Game, this,
Yeah. Yeah.
juggernaut of a show that came out of South Korea. Um, it was like it took the world by storm, except you. It took the world by storm. No, but I mean, listen, this show, I if it wasn't for a streaming network,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for, I just don't think we would have had access. We would not have been exposed to this type of storytelling. We just wouldn't have. And
Sure.
it was great. It was great. And I also actually watched it with my mom. And
Okay.
it's like a brutally violent, this is a brutally violent show, okay? Brutally violent. And my mom, it's like 80-year-old, you know my mom, it's 80-year-old, like sweet lady. She's like, and she's reading the text like how I'm reading the text, like the subtitles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like her comprehension of the show was so spot on. Like when we would like analyze the show, and I was like, am I talking to like a TV critic here? Like it was awesome. And it was because we were both on the same playing field. We don't speak Korean. So we were reading the English subtitles, her and I, and we were both experiencing this show together. And it was just sort of like this new culture, this new show together. And I
Yeah.
just don't think we would have had that, say, like even 5 years ago. So I
That's
think
funny.
I think great. I do think it's better. I do think it's
Yeah.
better. I think it's opening up new stories, people from all over the world. People are like accessing things, even in Dubai, like the amount of like they love Canadian TV here, which is hilarious. Like I'm like,
Oh, wow.
I'm amazed, but they're not looking at it like how we look at it. We're like, okay, this is our local TV. This is American. They're just like, oh, I saw this really cool Canadian show. I saw this really cool British show. You know what I mean? It's just another,
Yeah.
they have access to it. So they're
What
watching
what
those
what
things.
TV shows what Canadian TV or cinema are they enjoying?
They're really interested in, well, I mean, listen, a lot of them watch Saving Hope, which is awesome. So that's very exciting. But I mean, new stuff. Listen, they all love Schitt's Creek, but Schitt's Creek, outside of Schitt's Creek, which is like a huge one. Stuff like Working Moms, Kim's
Yeah.
Convenience, Bad Blood, which is another one, which I'm like, wow, that's a mob show out of Montreal. And I'm like, that's great. That's like a show that airs on City TV, I think. It's like a Rogers property.
Yeah.
So I've heard that a couple times too. I'm like, that's great. Like, it's just cool that
Yeah.
that is in the conversation with other shows that are American. Say.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this, as someone who is um, on TV, on our screens, and it has been, when you watch TV shows, are you watching? Can you separate watching as, let me see how this was made? Like when you're watching a TV show or a movie, are you watching as someone who is in the industry, or do you go as a consumer? Do you understand what I'm trying to ask?
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly I know the question. I've also asked that question too.
Oh yeah.
When they say, oh, so I understand the question, but it's
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing to answer because you're watching it like both.
Okay.
So there might be things that I may love that like another person may not, and it's because maybe I'm really interested in the way this person is acting. Like I just think there's something really interesting happening here. I'm just attracted to watching what's happening here. And I may be taken out of the story or something. Not taken out of the story, but I may be just really attracted to this thing, and I may love this project because of that. And the other person will be like, yeah, but I just am like, I didn't like X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
And the flip side is, which probably happens more often than not, is like you just start seeing like a lot of the devices being used. Like you just start like you
I
start
know why
thinking,
they're doing this. I know why they're doing
I know
that.
what's happening. I know why they're saying that. I know what's happening here. We're probably around this minute mark of the movie, like, and that can get frustrating. But nothing get frustrating. It just that it happens. It's not like I'm like, oh, why can't? It's not that. It's just naturally. It just by default happen. And the longer you do something, the more you try to
Yeah.
figure something out. You know what I mean? Like someone wears a shirt. I'm like, yeah, it's a great shirt, but like, someone in fashion, my sister's in fashion. Both of them are, geez. Anyways, they might be like, I don't know, like the cut's this, the stitching is this. They might pick something, whatever. I'm like, yeah, like whatever. I'm like,
It looks good and it feels comfortable.
yeah, like, what's the problem there? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One of the things I love about what you do is you celebrate your friends a lot and your family a lot. Um, and I couldn't help but thinking. So talking about you watching Squid Games with your mom, um, we watched Peacemaker, the first three episodes with Casimir. So like
Right.
as if and yeah, he's 15, turning 16, but your friend Rizwan is in the opening scene and
Amazing.
knocks it
Amazing.
knocks it out of the park.
This one kills that scene. I've seen that scene like 5 times. Yeah, I text him. I'm like, dude, this is so good.
It
It's
is
so
the
good.
best. It
Very
is the
good.
best scene.
Yeah, very
Yeah, just a funny show, but I think that scene literally like brings people in and makes them stick.
It's so, and it's him. I mean, he just it's great writing, and he just delivers. Well, both the performances, like John Cena, like the way they play off of each other is just
Yeah,
it's just excellent, really good, really
it's
really good.
hilarious. Like I've never met him. I don't know him, but I've seen his photos on Instagram. He posts photos with his family. There's a Kushali
Yeah,
Mubarak photo, and
yeah.
I've seen him and you chat on Friday Night Reflections. I think once maybe. So it's just hilarious. That scene is just even that much more funny. Um,
Yeah, he's great. I have nothing but great things to say about Riz and his whole family. I stay with them when I'm in LA. Like
yeah,
he's just like family. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, and
that was
like a wonderful friend. Like you see how he is as like a family person. Like he's and he's hilarious and he's very talented. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
really really
Glad to
good.
know him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When a couple of things that you've done so far, and maybe you did this before, but I know after Saving Hope, you did some stuff with Soul Pepper Theater. Is that right? Was that after Saving Hope?
Yeah,
Did the timing right?
that's right. No, I did something. Yeah, in 2019, right before the pandemic,
Yeah.
summer of 2019. Yeah, Soul Pepper Theater. Yeah, I
Now
did a
was
play called
that
Art.
okay? Outside of maybe stuff you did while you were still in school and coming up, was there a long time between you going on stage, like in theater live? Had that been a while?
To go. So in terms of professional theater, um, when I was hosting Star, like I was like an entertainment, I was like an
Yeah.
entertainment host. While I was hosting, while I was on eTalk, the entertainment show, it's on eTalk. While I was on eTalk, I was in a play called 30 Dates. And it was kind of like a non-union kind of thing. So that was a little bit of theater. I did a lot of theater in high school.
Yeah.
A little bit of theater. This is my foray into acting now. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do this. And that was it. Then I went into film and TV. And then I did a play for the Factory Theater in 2018.
Okay.
So that was my first real professional theater credit. And then that got me this great role at Soul Pepper Theater for the play Art by Yasmina Reza.
Okay. Okay. What there's I'm sure there's different muscles that you need to use, different ways of thinking when you're performing for the camera and a director versus performing for both the first person, for first row and the last row. What's the difference as an actor?
You just need to make sure that you're heard, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you're on camera, like the microphone's like right, it's like right here. It's like right. It's like right. It's very sensitive. cameras are right there. It's like, it's sensitive, you know? On stage, I don't really, it's not like I become bigger or anything. I just want to make sure for me, again, not that I'm some pro theater actor, from my experience, and I worked with some crazy veterans. These guys, I'll name drop them right now. Oliver Dennis and Diego Matamoros. Like, they're like, Karim, they are legends. They are, I couldn't believe I'm on stage with these guys.
Yeah.
Like, they were like among the, like, they were there since day one, since the inception of Soul Pepper Theater, which is this great theater company in Canada. I was just like watching them, absorbing them, taking everything that I could. But the only thing I wanted to do was make sure that like I was present for all the rehearsals, that I was there, worked my ass off, want to make sure I got things right. And that I was just heard. I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I am clear and I'm heard. And our director, Phil Aiken, also legendary, I just trusted him. I literally put all my faith and trust in Phil. I was like, okay, Phil, like, yes, no, can you hear me? You know, like, it was that. Is this okay? Is this not okay? I just trusted him. Yeah, it was like one of the best experiences I've ever had, like, for sure. Like,
nice.
3 experiences, I would say.
Perfect. And any plans to want to do that again, or any plans to be doing that soon?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, I would. Yeah, absolutely. It's so fulfilling. It's like exciting. It's thrilling. It's like there's nothing like it. I would say what would equate. You know what equate to it would be like for me, it'd be like doing live television, like a live major event.
Yeah,
kind of like that. Doing this, I did an indie film. I'd love to talk to you about it. It's called Donkeyhead.
Yes, we're going to talk about. Let's talk about it right now.
Movie. Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's as fulfilling. It's like there's something about theater that's very holistic and very much about the text. And it's not about it's not about how much money you're making. It's not about like, are people going to see me? It's like your ego is 100% left at the door. And I say this, and I don't like to think I'm that type of actor anyways, that is thinking about the bottom line or numbers or anything. I just mean like, you're just everyone on the team. Everyone on the team is focused on not ratings. They're just focused on, let's just tell a good story. Now, I'm sure I'm not an idiot. I get it. It's a business. They want to make sure there's people in the seats. I understand all that. I just meant that I was sheltered from all of that. And it was more about like the work, really about the work, and only about the work. And you dive into the work, and you're like in it, and you're like with this piece of text, you're with this like 90-page play, or like this, that's it. And you're just living and breathing. Whereas in television, you're living and breathing a script, and then the script changes the next week. So you live and breathing an entire series, but the entire series is ever evolving because new scripts are coming into your inbox every week or so. Like, oh, this is what's happening next month. This is what's happening the week after. It's like that. Whereas a play and this movie, we're just like, that's all we're doing. That this is it, and we're living and breathing this. And you can't help but take it home. You can't help but like dream about it and think about it and fantasize about it. Like it just happens. Yeah. It's so immersive and amazing. It's amazing. It's like virtual reality. It's awesome.
When I don't know if, because I know this past TIFF, right, was when Donkeyhead came out. Is that correct?
That's right. So Donkeyhead we shot last year, like almost a year ago, like January.
Yeah.
Like probably like 51 weeks ago, we shot this thing in Regina. And it wasn't done for TIFF. So it premiered at the TIFF Lightbox. It premiered at the TIFF Lightbox, the part of MISAF. So MISAF is the Mosaic International South Asian Film Festival.
Okay.
And Agam, who is listen to this, she's like the writer, she's the director, and is the star of this movie. So Agam, wanted this movie to, go to like big festivals and all that kind of stuff. But Array, which is Ava DuVernay's company, picked up the distribution for the movie. So they picked up the distribution for the movie. So then Agam, along with her producers, Anand and Kelly, they're like, let's yank the film out of film festival contention. And I'm sure we got some rejections, but we also got some people who were saying like, yes, we want it. it was yes and no, but there wasn't like, let's not commit to anything. Let's
Yeah.
pull it out. And now we have a distribution deal with Array. Let's do that. So MISA have been supporters of like this, the festival, like the founders of the festival, like Arshad and Anya, and like just the whole team at MISA. They've been such supporters of South Asian cinema, South Asian storytelling, and in particular, the journey of this film.
Okay.
And so they were like, is it okay if we premiere it? And they did, and along with Telefilm, premiered at the TIFF Lightbox. So it was like a very special premiere because it was just a celebration of this movie, and that was it.
Okay.
And now it premieres on, it goes to Netflix, so it'll be on January 21st.
Yeah.
So it'll be on Netflix in the US, UK, Australia, New Zealand. Yeah, so that's the TIFF connection, though.
I saw you talk about it huge when it was announced that it was coming on Netflix.
Massive.
Why was it so special, or why is it so special? This film and this project.
I think it's special for a lot. Like, I mean, there's a few reasons. Personally, for me, it's special because to tell a South Asian story at this level, like like Deepa Mehta's executive producing it. It's a story about Canadians in the prairies, and it's just kind of like a movie that you would see that's made by like Noah Baumbach or Alexander Payne, or like it's like that kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a female South Asian director making it. And I'm just like, I read the thing and I'm like, I want to be part of it. I want to be part of this so bad. I just want to be part of it. And I was lucky enough to be part of it. So that alone is very special. We talked about this a few times, like the cast and I were like, wow, how rare is it that there's a few movies that are like that, but not a lot. Like literally a handful, Karim, like not a lot.
Yeah.
That tell like this type of experience. Like you watch this, you relate to it. Like you relate to it on another level that you may not have realized when you watch this film, which I think is very, very, very cool.
Oh.
That being said, it's also a very specific film. And the beauty about specificity is that the more specific you are, the more universal it is. So I had friends who are not South Asian watch the movie and were like, man, I really thought about my family, and I got to call my dad. Like it was like a friend of mine lost his dad, and it hit him really. It's a film about like our family and the loss of our father. So it's not really giving anything away, but like
sure.
There is this element of this movie, and people relate to it. But for you, for me, it's like it's even deeper, and we don't get that. We don't get enough of that. It's also special because just to work alongside with like, it's like 4 siblings in this thing, and I'm one of the siblings. They feel like my siblings. Like so, Agam Darshi and Sandy Sidhu and Stephen Lobo. These guys are like it's like my family now, and it's because we're living, breathing this text during the pandemic. So we're only surrounded with each other for 1 month. In minus like 40-degree weather in Regina. Like you're not going anywhere. You're just hanging out, and you're being the people in the script, and so much of ourselves are poured into it. And yeah, so that's why it was very special, and for me, yeah.
What does it mean when after the movie is made, you have someone like an Ava come along and said, I'm picking up this movie and gonna help it. What does that mean for the film? What does it mean to you?
Well, it means that the film has a chance to be seen. Like when you tell a story, you want people to hear your story.
Sure, yeah.
Why else would you tell a story? You want to tell that's a story to tell you. I want to tell you a story. In this particular case, we want as many people to hear our story and watch our story. And someone like Ava, who's like a respectable filmmaker and producer, and who's just done remarkable things, for her to put her stamp on it, for her to take it on, I think it gives the film credibility. She's able to she's able to open the doors for our film to go to Netflix in the US. Um, and I think it just means that the movie has the opportunity to be experienced by as many people as possible. And for me, I mean, I don't know, like if it does something for me professionally, it'd be amazing
Sure.
if it does. But I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's like, I'm proud of it. I like, I couldn't watch the film objectively, to be honest. I could just take other people's word for it. They enjoyed it, but I just remember my experience. My experience making it was,
Yeah.
it was like beautiful. Like it was beautiful. It was like a beautiful experience, and I still think about it. And so it's like you have like a really, it was like, wow, that was a really good time, or that was really meaningful. That was really special. This thing that happened. That's this movie for me. And yeah, so I'm happy that that experience I've had
Yeah.
will be experienced by other people,
Why
and
was
hopefully.
it? Why was it so different? Because you talked about, you know, making Donkeyhead and performing on stage was very similar, but then very different from other things that you've done. Because you've done TV shows, you've done stuff for the camera before. What made this experience with Donkeyhead? Why was that so different than other things you've done for the camera? But again, at the same time, very similar to stuff you've done on stage.
Yeah, I think the similarity with the stuff on stage is that you're working with one piece of text. It's one piece of text, and it's the beauty of being immersed in a story. It's just you're immersed in it. Um, it's like it just and also with art like that play, we did a month of rehearsals, and there's so much text, and there was just the three of us on stage. It's like a three-hander.
Oh wow.
But it's just us on stage, and there's a lot of words, and we're just and emotionally for me, the play was heavy. It's funny
Okay.
for other people, heavy for me. um, and so that's like that stays with you. Like that experience is like you really experience this thing. And the movie, similarly, this particular film, it's one text. We did actually have a rehearsal, which was cool, but we were together for a month, living, breathing this thing. And even though the way you shoot a movie is like, you're doing a 1 or 2 scenes a day, it's not the whole movie a day. It's just that I think it's part of it was the pandemic, part of it was the weather.
Yeah.
We're just now making a TV show. Don't get me wrong; it's still special. Like every project I've done, I think about it now, all has its own.
Yeah.
There's always something incredible that I've taken from it. I just think there was something similar about the immersive experience between the way we shot this movie and doing the play.
Okay. Interesting. Because after a while, I tend to understand, in movies, because they're always thanking, when someone wins an award, they're thanking the writers, they're thanking the directors, and I'm going, but they won a Best Actor award. But then I sort of remove myself and I say, okay, how do you actually make a movie? And obviously I don't know the answer to that, but in my head I'm thinking there's all these takes, and sometimes all the actors focused on is that take, and not the whole story together. So I was always curious about the experience of the actor, whether it's in a TV show or whether it's in a movie, how the experience of the actor is so vastly different than what the viewer is actually experiencing on a screen. And you hear actors, talk about this when they talk about, whether they have a viewing party to watch the first episode of a TV show, or whether they go to the opening of the movie. It's the first time they've seen it. And I'm thinking, well, you made it, so you have seen it. But I've started to realize, no, they haven't actually, because all they did was, these separate parts in front of a camera. I don't know where I'm going with this, but so I'm curious. So I guess that's also why I was asking you about the experience of making this movie was so different than anything you've done before.
Yeah, like I think what you're describing, that is sort of the process of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Especially for an actor, like you're telling the full story, but you're like one small part of the story.
Yeah.
Like I equate it to
Yeah.
like building a house. You know, there's the architect who did the design, and then there's like the contractor who's like directing everybody on how to make the design. As an actor, you're like, I'm gonna add some color to this wall. Like you're the painter that's in, and you're
Yeah.
gonna add your touch. But I can't go sitting there like I'm not gonna knock the wall down. Like ridiculous. Like I'm just gonna add my color. And if you like my painting, then you're gonna hire me as a painter. And
Yeah.
that's all. So I'm focused on this wall and this wall and this wall. And these 5 walls I'm gonna work on.
Yeah.
And that's it. But I'm aware of the story I'm making, just like a painter's aware of the house that they're painting in. They're aware.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's general. I would say that's how I equate maybe the profession to.
Yeah.
Like it's like contract work, really. It is contract work. But in terms of this movie, and that I think the reason why it was a little special is because it's like what I said earlier. Like if it's the immersive experience. I think because of the pandemic, the weather, and the idea of just being together and just like we're just living, breathing this thing, and also we're telling a South Asian Canadian story. But just the fact that we're telling a South Asian story in this particular way, it just makes it it's just rare. That's what it is. It's rare. So I haven't had that experience of working on like a all South Asian story at this level. I just haven't. And I hope to be in plenty more. I hope to make plenty more. Like I hope to be part of that, be a storyteller myself in that way. But at this point, I haven't. And so I think that's why I recognize that it was special and rare.
Nice.
You know?
Donkeyhead coming on Netflix.
Yeah, man. I don't know when it's going to come out in Canada. That's the thing. That's the only I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's supposed to go to Super Channel and then Prime, I think, Amazon Prime.
Okay, in Canada. Okay, good.
I'm not sure. I don't have the detail. You know what? Don't even quote me on that. I don't have the detail. This is you're totally wrong. I'd be like, actually, Donkeyhead, you're going to premiere it on your podcast. Like, I don't know what's
there. You go.
I don't know what
stay to the end.
Yeah. We'll find out then.
So interestingly enough, I don't know if you're not allowed to talk about this, but you go on IMDb and you can also find out stuff that hasn't happened yet. But because there's credits that have been written. Are you able to talk at all about stealing vows? Has that happened? Is it happening? Can you talk?
So of course I can. Yeah, stealing vows is done. So I just have a small part in this thing, and I'm so happy to be part of it. The director, his name is Bobby Brown. He's a filmmaker, and him and Ali Hassan, comedian,
who's coming on the podcast like in 2-3 days.
No, talk to Ali about stealing vows. He's like wrote this thing. He wrote this thing, stars in it. Yeah, he's awesome. I just popped in, jumped in for like a hot second. And these guys are just are piecing it together, and it's like I think it's like a labor of love for these guys. And so I don't know when it's coming out, to be honest, but it's shot. But there's really great talent in it, and it's really fun. And I saw a rough cut of it, and I was just like, this is cool. This is cool. But I haven't Ali is the guy to talk to about that. Tell me some stuff, by the way.
I will. Yeah. I will. Tell me something about Ali, just so I have some like some. Hey Ali, I heard about this about you. Is there any insights you can give me?
Ali knows where to get great pizza in Toronto.
Great pizza in Toronto. Okay.
If you ask Ali about great pizza, he's also, he's like a funny comedian, and you should talk to him about the Muslim experience and what that's, he did a show about that. So yeah, I'll talk to him about that, which I'm sure he will. But yeah, talk to him about the pizza. We went to a pizza spot together, and he chose it. It was so yummy.
I will ask him about. I mean, he is surprised. So he's been on this pod. This will be his 3rd time on the podcast. So I can't remember if I had him first or if I had him with Dave Merhesh because I saw their show, the last show they did of We Are Not Terrorists show, which was hilarious. And so I had both of them on as well. But he surprises me. I mean, his have you heard his podcast yet?
Ali's?
Yeah, Doctor versus Comedian.
Versus comedian. No, I've heard about it. I haven't actually heard it. Yeah, he's definitely posted about it, and I've not actually heard it.
Yeah, it's they've done a bunch of episodes about music, and he's like a metalhead, which like shocked me. I thought I was the only one who was into hard rock and stuff.
Hard rock, I'll do. Yeah, well, I'm talking like death metal.
He's got stuff. Like I got this book here. I need to talk to him about. Nothing but a good time. Like this talks about like the hair metal days.
Hair metal, yeah, got it. Yeah, for sure.
Cinderella and Poison and
Tesla.
Some of the same stuff that's in that. Tesla
and Def Leppard.
Yeah, like Def Leppard would be on the lower side,
I love Def Leppard. I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan. I love Guns. I think they're like. I saw them in Toronto. So sick. It was so great.
And he was. So the reason I went to the Guns N' Roses concert I went to was because you had gone to it. The year before. Good. So years ago, right. Back when Willowdale was at George Vanier, like that many years ago.
Right.
I had tickets to see Guns N' Roses. And I don't know what happened, but I think a family trip ended up happening that we went to England. So I had to sell all of my Guns N' Roses tickets. So then I never had gone to one. And then you'd always hear stories of Axl Rose just being a dick, not coming to shows on time, and the show would start 2 hours late. And said, I said to myself, I don't want to experience that. And then you went to the show, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, whenever it was, and you raved about it. You said it's one of the best shows you've ever been to.
Awesome. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and so I ended up going to the next time they came around and try. I said, okay, who's went to it? I got to go to it now.
What did you think of the show? What did you think?
It was very different. I still don't know what to think about it. I am happy and I'm glad that I went to a Guns N' Roses show. But it was so different than any show because I'm used to shows. Have you ever seen July Talk in concert? You know this band, July Talk?
No.
Great Toronto band. It's the lead singers are a guy and a girl, and they play off each other amazing. And in concert, in show, it's literally like a show. It's not just the music, but it's the interaction with the band. It's the band talking with the crowd, and those are the shows I love. Right. And I didn't get that from Guns N' Roses.
I see. Well, that's a different style of performance.
It was great to hear songs. It was just amazing.
For me, it was like, am I really hearing the piano from November Rain? Am I really hearing this live right now? That's what it was. Like, am I really hearing the guitar lick from "Sweet Child of Mine"? Like, I get that song is like this, but I'm just like, is that Slash actually playing it? Like that's what it was. It was like, am I really witnessing Slash play the intro to "Sweet Child of Mine"? It was like that. I was like pinching myself.
Yeah,
I think it was more about that because it's just so iconic. So that's why it was a great show for me, I think.
Yeah. That show, yeah. When you put it that way, there was all the songs that came on, just memories of the first time you hear that.
Like hearing this, it's like that. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
I remember, I don't know if I was in grade 9 or if I was in grade 10. So 1991. Did it come out in 91? No. 91 was Use Your Illusion. So this came out in the late 80s.
Appetite for Destruction?
Yeah, Appetite for Destruction, right? Sometime in the
89, saw that, yeah.
And I remember on a bus, either going to or coming back from a ski race, listening to that. So I think somebody had a CD player, maybe one of those old Sony CD Walkmans, and just listening to it. I go, this is different. I haven't heard this before.
Right.
Have you ever heard music that you listened to for the first time and you said, okay, this is a different type, this is different, this is special, and then years later it's like an iconic album? Have you ever had those types of experiences?
100% I have. I'm trying to think what though. There's like a billion of them. I remember like what's a good example? I can't even think of a good example. There's like a billion of them. I don't know. Pearl Jam. Um, Pearl Jam. A lot of music that I love, Prince and stuff like that. Like that they were like already established by the time I got into it, right? Like even George Michael, like I was like, but now I guess like I think when I first heard Kanye.
Oh yeah.
Like,
okay.
Oh, this is like, what's going on here? Like I remember like reading an article about him because he was producing for Jay-Z. That's how he first got started. It's like early 2000s or something like that. I remember reading a Rolling Stone magazine about him, like, and then like hearing it, I'm like, whoa, it just felt a little like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I hear you. I remember, so it wasn't my memory, but my co-host on my music podcast, Greg, talks about going to see Red Hot Chili Peppers, his favorite band. And that place, I think it's still a CTV building, but the Masonic Temple in Toronto.
Yeah.
Going to see them there. And before Red Hot Chili Peppers comes on, there is, oh my goodness, Smashing Pumpkins. But before Smashing Pumpkins comes on, there's an unknown band that comes on, and the lead singer is climbing the rafters and everything. A small little band out of Seattle called Pearl Jam that nobody had heard of before. And the lead singer had a cast on his arm.
That's crazy.
And Greg was there, and he heard this, and he goes, this changes music. And he says the story of Smashing Pumpkins gets on, and they got booed off stage after 3 songs.
No way. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, one of my favorite bands that I thought, but they just never got the chance. They just had bad luck, and they consider them a one-hit wonder, but they're not a one-hit wonder. Is Blind Melon.
Oh yeah.
Blind Melon is like, I think they're so like, they just got robbed. I mean, they're back. They've come back. They have like a great new lead singer. It's a guy named Travis Warren. But yeah, I remember when I first heard them, I was like, they're just so different and so cool. But yeah, Shannon, who the lead singer, died early.
Yeah.
But I do remember thinking that was one that I think could have gone for far. But
yeah, man. This has been good, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, man.
For doing this. We have to hopefully when things, simmer down, you and I just don't speak when there's a podcast to be recorded.
I'm around, dude. I'm just hitting. You know what? You're right. Yeah. But hey, say hi to your fam, say hi to your sister and your parents and brother and everybody, and
I will, man. Yeah, for sure. Anything else you wanted to talk about? Was there something you wanted to make sure that people know about what you're doing, or?
I think Donkeyhead is the big one. I think Donkeyhead. Look out for that. If you got kids, how old are your kids now?
I just have one. He's 15, turning 16 in March.
But you have you've got decent. No, you have like.
Oh yeah, Fiza's kids. Yeah.
How
they're what, 5 and 3, something like that. 5 and 4, 6 and 4.
And Anis does he have kids?
Isaac is 11, turning 30, something like that. Yeah.
Easily. Okay, fine. Okay, so here's what I think. So for the tweens, the teenage, there's a show called Utopia Falls, which is on CBC.
Yes,
Gem.
Of course. Yes.
Watch that. My boy RT, it's his show. I'm in it. Proud to be in it. One of my best friends. It's his show. It's awesome. It's like the birth of hip hop in the future. It's like the rediscovery of hip hop. I think you dig it, dude. Seriously.
Utopia Falls. Yeah.
For Fiza's kids, got to get them to watch Mira Royal Detective, which is on Disney Junior.
Yeah, you've done voiceover stuff for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Play a bunch of characters on that. And so very proud of that as well. Yeah.
So Utopia Falls, one season? Is it meant to be just a? Okay.
I just got the one season, and then I think then everything happened. Like pandemic hit, and everything kind of just fell through the flux. Archie's gone to do other great things since then, but it was such like a cool sci-fi concept. But like the themes are really, you know, he talks about protests and he talks about like personal reflection in music and the importance of and what hip hop, like what it you know, the meaning of it when it first started, why it came out. So it's like it's that 200, 300 years from now.
Interesting.
The rediscovery. So these kids find the hip hop that we would have grown up with.
Nice.
In the yeah, it's cool.
Hey, so
seriously.
you're buds with Jeff, right?
Plays a voice in it. Pardon?
You're buds with Jeff Teravanian?
Yeah. Of course, he's in it. He's great in it. He's great.
Yeah. Have you ever spoken to him about his past life as a rock star?
No.
Dude. You won't be able to see this. Maybe you will.
What are you talking about? What are you talking? Are you serious?
Yeah, this is him here. I don't know if you'd be able to see that.
Bro, we got a screen. I'm gonna screenshot this right now. I can't see it though. Hang on.
Okay, hold on.
You see it?
Is that better? That's better.
So which one is he?
He's this guy here.
Okay.
Hey, hold on. Hold on.
Is that you?
I got something better for you to show him. Hold on a second. Stay right there.
Right here, man.
This will play well on the podcast where there's like a.
Dude, okay, I gotta screenshot this. Okay, hang on. Okay.
You notice him right there, right?
Yeah, because I point him out. That's not him.
That's him.
Why do you talk? Is it? Okay, hold it. But you gotta be in the shot.
There you go. Let's.
That's fun. Oh my god. Yo, that's great. Yo, do you have an Instagram account or no? Like
I do.
Your podcast? Podcast is podcast?
At Kareem Kanji.
Okay, got it. I'm gonna tag Jeff in this. I'm like, yo, man, is this you?
Jeff, we'll have ask Jeff about stories from his rock and roll days out of Oshawa, maybe.
No way.
Yeah,
that's awesome. He's great. You should talk to him. He's so. Do you talk to him?
I had him on right before he started filming Utopia Falls, I think.
Oh, he's such a lovely guy, man. Yeah, just like a legit lovely, great actor.
Great photographer too. He's taken some great photos on his Instagram account.
Yeah. No, it's just like a pleasure to work with him and get to know him a little bit. Yeah. But I'm gonna post that.
He will crack. In fact, if you go deep into on Instagram, I have a photo. I think it's the same band of how they look like today. So I've got this photo. I went to like a few years ago. Minaz and I went to Cadillac Lounge. Is that a place? No.
Yeah, in Parkdale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the old bandmates was playing there, and then all four of these guys just happened to be there. So I took a photo and found an old photo and said, "When's the reunion happening?" or something like that.
That's good. That's funny.
But again, Husein, man, thanks for this, buddy.
This is awesome. Thank you very much, bro. This is great.
Yeah.
It's always nice talking.
Enjoy your time in Dubai.
Thank you very much.
I will let you know when to come back when all the snow's been shoveled and melted. Sometime in March.
Well, enjoy. It's Canada. Go do some snow angels or something out there.
Fair enough. I'm too old for that stuff now. Have a great day, buddy. Take care.